Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And for today's adventure, I've come back to a similar area that I was a few weeks ago in the video. I've just noticed actually how dirty the lens is here, folks. Hold on. Yeah, so folks, a few weeks ago I was here on a video documenting where the old main road used to come into this area here near Glen on the wild Cairnamount road here of Scotland. And last time I was here I documented a World War II pillbox which at one time defended the old road. But apparently somebody actually got in the comments, shout out to that person, and they says at the other side of the old main road there's actually another pillbox which was also defending the road, and it's apparently in the forest. So I'm going to head down the old main road here and have a look. Last time I walked across the new main road, but this time I'm wanting to come and document the old bridge, see what little remains of history is doing here. I love these adventures, just heading into areas and things, places that I've never been. Just, it's crazy all the different nuggets of history from different time frames and different periods of history that's on display. Check this out folks, you can imagine back in the day this was the little narrow bridge that all the vehicles had to pass through. This is some proper wild Scotland in these areas, and I just love the colours in this autumn time. All the different oranges and yellows and reds on the trees here, mixed with the dark green. This is an interesting little bit here on the bridge. Wow, look at this folks. It's a true paradise scene. And back in World War II, this was a crucial transport, like artery you could call it, and that's why it was so heavily defended with these World War II pillboxes. This is just insane to see the detail of stonework on this old bridge. Looks like it's made out of granite, which is most commonly found within the wild lands around here. Sometimes I've also seen at old bridges there was often like a spigot mortar pit, but I'm really not actually sure like if that would be around this area or whatever. And apparently this secondary road was changed and fitted into the land here in the 1960s. This was all re-landscaped, and you can see the cement structure of the modern bridge compared to the old beautiful stonework on this bridge here. And then you can see it's solid bedrock that the river's flowing over the top of. Anyway folks, let's keep heading along here and see what we see. I'm just trying to figure out where the original road route must have actually gone. It potentially did go up this direction here. So I just need to keep my eyes peeled for abandoned history right here. It's mad how like there's wee nuggets of history hidden in trees and bushes. Oh wow, here we go folks, look at this. Here is the secondary little pillbox. Shout out to the viewers and stuff that like have commented and shared the history and told me about this pillbox. It's amazing just to think like so much is out there, and I love to record it and document it on the channel for the world to see. Just look at this with the autumn colours and the old stonework here of this pillbox. And then I'm guessing this must be the old main road here heading straight up this hill. Not unless this could be what it is folks here. The old main roads maybe came straight up between these two pillboxes. I'm just analysing it and imagining the history. I can see there's a little door leading in around the back there. Let's take a look at the details of the outside first. Wow, I just saw, right folks, there's a little moose. A little mouse just literally ran around there under that tree. Yeah, this is incredible. So they would have been looking out this direction here. Anybody who was like coming over the bridge was obviously under observation. But bunkers like this would have most commonly been in use if the country had actually been invaded in World War II. Once the Germans were on land and trying to get across from one area to another, they would have been coming up against heavy defended areas like this. Wow. It's mad how well that this is actually built into the landscape here. This has to be one of the coolest pillboxes that I've ever seen. Look at it. It's got all these openings. Wow, this is insane, folks. And then look at this here. This is another incredible opening here. Look at the angle of this one leading the way in. And that's obviously because the road must have actually gone up. Maybe potentially a couple of roads here. This is what I believe. The old main road was coming up this side here. And then this is a little junction which at one time would have led on to the Glen farm there. Which is actually where the old pillbox is that I visited the last time I was up this neck of the woods. I had no idea that this was even here. And look at the way it's disguised into the land. You would just think it was literally like a wall. But here we are. I forgot to take the bright torch, but I do have the phone torch here, folks, so we're okay for this adventure. I'm going to jump over in here and document what's left of this history within this structure. And sometimes autumn's the best time to explore, just for the colours and the vivid nature itself. No way, check this out here, folks. There is a mouse somewhere kicking about down here, because I did see it running. Wow, this is proper, like, history mixed with the wildest of nature. And this is just absolutely what I love on the channel, folks. I'm in my element. The last few weeks with the mad storms, I've just been so frustrated not being able to explore and see things. Just look at this here. We're sitting within this incredible autumn bush. And look at this here, like the way it's constructed with the big lintel stone above the door, leading into this madness under here. I'll get the torch switched on. Let's head inside. Yeah, I love the different ways that they constructed these to fit within the land itself as to where they were located. Yes, this is so cool. Look here, this is mad. This is so cool to see these details of history, folks. Look at the old, what would have been the frame for the old door. Most likely there since the 1940s. And this little narrow opening coming in at this angle. Ken, often it would be designed in a certain way to minimise the chance of like a blast or whatever coming in the door, or even gunshots ricocheting within the structure. But this is the first time I've seen a World War II pillbox which is so well built into the landscape itself. It must have been a pleasure to be building these back in the day to a certain degree. Apart from the whole like terror of the war and the fact that they were built as a crucial part of the country's defence, it must have been so special to kind of hide these little spots within the country. And like this is the main lookout, which is down towards the bridge where we walked in. Yeah, this is so cool. They've got like a mixture of cement and then the massive chunks of granite, which granite would have been such a strong stone back in the day. And then this would have been looking right up the road. Yeah, see, like it's just crazy to imagine the soldiers or maybe even the home guard that built this. Look at this detail on the roof here, folks. They've got the corrugated iron there on the roof, and then they've actually poured the cement onto it, which is a common thing that you actually see within the bunkers. Look at the high moisture content with the droplets of water. That's the reason it's cool to record these places, folks. The dampness and moisture can often take their toll. Wow, I shone my torch at the roof and now there's just tons of the little midgy things flying about. Yeah, all these different lookouts here, they're just mad. It shows you the thickness of the structure as well. The structure is so thick. I'm keeping an eye underfoot as well. A bit wary because I saw that mouse earlier on the adventure, folks. Look at this here. Whoa, that is midgy central, folks. I don't even know if that comes out on camera. I have to get the footage. I'm covering my face because all these things are just flying around. Look at that opening there though, folks. Somebody would have been standing there with a rifle. That's one of the longest openings for sure. That must be the first time all those midges have seen daylight. Wow. I can't even exaggerate to you how many like flying creatures is right there, folks. Thousands, millions. It's such a wild environment always. That's why I love these adventures, folks. I'm showing you little corners of Scotland that's like hardly seen, hardly documented. Looks like somebody's been sitting in here having a session with the vodka. And I've seen a couple of like Miller bottles outside lying as well, so maybe somebody's been hanging out or even camping in an area like this at a certain time. If you can imagine, since the war, these places have just been abandoned, and every year they decay more and more. History's almost lost to nature and time itself in a spot like this. To come here on such a perfect autumn's day, after those mad storms that we've had, it's just special, folks. A lot of these bunkers, I believe, were built by often local home guard, which was like people who were often like too old or not able to join the proper like frontline forces. Sometimes people who were even like farmers or doing other crucial jobs for the country, they would also be in the home guard and do little bits to the land like this to help defend it. And if we had come up like under serious attack in an invasion situation, then that's exactly when these places would have jumped into action. They would have been absolute crucial hubs of defence for the country. And I'm just so glad that I've come and managed to find this. Document another unseen bit of history on the channel. More wartime history. See, when I see that there, like, that's just such a crazy scene of abandoned history, folks. You wouldn't get a more crazy abandoned place, really, like, for being in a wild location. There is one up on the hill at Glen, which is also incredible, but this one here is one of my favourite pillboxes, I would say, that I've ever been in and ever found, just because of its construction and its location. Wow, folks, this is the kind of place I just love sharing on the videos, and I appreciate everybody that's clicked subscribe recently and everybody that watches the videos. It's cool just to share these things and keep the history alive for the next generation to see. This sort of thing was just like on our doorstep not so long ago. Every little bit like this was like a crucial little item which helped the country win the war at the end of the day. Let's head on back around this way, folks. Yeah, there's the Miller bottles. Somebody's been proper having a party at this location here. So I've just crossed the road to once again document this one that we saw a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see inside this little World War II pillbox, then you can go back a few videos. I'll link it at the end of this one. But it's interesting to see how at one time this was probably at one side of the road. The old road must have come up there, and then up to that junction which we just saw a minute ago next to the other pillbox. And I'm guessing this little road here came straight in to this area, which is now the Glen Estate Office apparently, according to that sign there. I've just seen a car coming out the road up there where I'm parked, so I believe whoever it is probably wondering like why my car's there, so I'll head on along there now. But what a crazy adventure this has been. Look at this, World War II history hidden in the wild lands of Scotland right here. And that's my favourite lookout. It's honestly like 4 or 5 foot till you're inside the bunker at that spot. That's what gave these places the strength. But it's the character of them now that I love. Abandoning this autumn wonderland. This is the first one I've seen which is so well shaped to fit the land. And within this autumn wonderland here, folks, it's been so cool to explore. I'm so glad that it's not that heavy rain that we've been dealing with recently on the videos. I've just been so limited the last few weeks because of flooded roads. And sometimes it's like old bridges like this, they often collapse in the storms. That's the case with some of the roads around like the Brecon and Angus area just now. Look at the bridge from this angle. folks, the craziest of scenes once again on the channel. I'm just loving it. I'm just also imagining the old vehicles starting from like horse and carts way back in the day coming over here. Maybe drovers drove in their sheep over a piece of ancient land like this, and then on to the stage where vehicles were too big to like fit over a bridge like this. And it must have been crazy. Buses and that must have gotten bellied. Somebody commented saying that buses and things used to literally like get stuck on the corner here back in the day, and I can imagine when they were going over the brow of the bridge, the belly of the bus must have been pretty much hitting. Oh, this is a super busy road. I'm keeping a fast pace because I can see there's somebody up here like literally at my car. They're in a red truck. But I have parked my car out of the way. It's just, they'll be wondering why it's there, because there's obviously like an abandoned house there, and they wouldn't be wanting anybody to be like poking about. But I always say on these adventures, I come with the greatest respects to like landowners, house owners and buildings. I'm out to document the history which is abandoned and like open to see. Like that little bunker, it's a wee nugget of history for the 1940s. The more years that pass, it degrades and decays more and more, and it's almost history lost to nature and time. So this is an interesting little housey at the side here, folks. It looks like it is undergoing renovation, but the unique thing with this house, there's a camera on the end of it, and that's like an online camera you can view, and it tells you if the snow gates is shut here. The Cairnamount snow gate camera, and it's actually mounted on the end of that house. But luckily today the snow gates is open and we can have a crazy adventure. I also noticed today when I was coming over the Cairnamount that there's loads of new snow poles up the sides of the road, and that's the poles which obviously warn you where the road is under extreme snow and blizzard conditions. But it's cool to see that they've fully like revamped the road with the fresh snow poles. Anyway folks, I'm going to end this one here. Thanks very much for watching. It was so cool just to see that World War II history, and imagine the people that built it and the people that maybe were stationed there. But even the fact it was built for the defence, most likely in an enemy invasion scenario. And it's just crazy to think. Right folks, I just spoke to the gentleman that was up here near my car. When I was down there, I could see him and he came up on the tractor, and I just spoke to him about abandoned history of Scotland and interesting things, and it's them here at this estate that's doing up this house. So shout out if you watched this video. It was cool to meet you, and it was so interesting to speak about all that abandoned history and local places. Anyway folks, I'm ending this one here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with the next adventure, wherever I end up going.